Welcome to another edition of Talk City Greensboro, produced by GTN, featuring interviews and events happening around town. It's an easy way to stay in the know while you're on the go. Subscribe to Talk City on iTunes, Stitcher, Google Play, or SoundCloud so you can keep up with what's going on in Greensboro city government. I'm your host, Josh Johnson, and again with me today at the big round table, as always, my good friend, Rosemary Platt.
Hello, glad to be here. All right, Josh, it's really hard to imagine our lives without technology, without email, social media, smartphones, but in reality, we really haven't had them all that long. Josh and I could easily start dating ourselves by talking about our first introduction to the World Wide Web. But
a computer.
Yes, but that would be boring. Boomer. Yes, I'm not going to do that to myself. All right. So many of us take tech knowledge, get that? For
good.
granted. Tech knowledge for granted. While some of our neighbors really don't even have access to technology at all, or more importantly, maybe the skills to use it.
Yeah.
A local organization is working to change that. Dr. W.A. Merritt is executive director of the Organization to Provide Equal Access to Technology, or OPEAT. Welcome.
Thank you so very much for having me. I really want to salute you guys for getting information out to folks in our community. And thank you for having me.
Thanks for being here.
Let's start by just talking about in the Greensboro area. How many people do you think don't have access or don't have adequate skills, don't have access to technology and the adequate skills to actually use it?
Well, probably if we look at the city as a whole, probably everyone has a cell phone, pretty much. But do we know how to use a cell phone? That's another question. That last mile connectivity, do we have fast-speed internet coming into the home? That's probably a third of our citizens of the city of Greensboro. And then we look at our elderly population, probably 3/4 of that population does not have or can use technology to their advantage.
That's a lot.
That's a lot.
It's a big number.
That's a lot.
Yeah. So what kind of services does OPEAT offer?
Well, OPEAT, we're 20 years old. Two gentlemen came together 20-some years ago and started the OPEAT organization to provide equal access to technology. And at that time, it was 20 years ago, we were talking about time dating ourselves. A lot of folks in the manufacturing side were coming out of those factories, and so they had to learn new skills. And so actually, we kind of entered into that space to retrain folks who were coming out of textiles, folks who we worked with, people who were coming home from incarceration. And so the knowledge of computers were very, very new at that time.
And since then, the knowledge base has grown exponentially. You talk about what we needed to know 20 years ago to what we need to know now. It's just there. It just grew leaps and bounds.
Very much so, very much so. And then too, if we even address what 2 years ago, a little more than 2 years, COVID, it changed the world. Because we couldn't meet in person. We couldn't go to our doctor's office. We couldn't meet our families.
Yeah.
So the need to use technology replaced our one-on-one, person-to-person activities.
Yeah, without it, you're isolated.
It pushed a whole new technology into the spotlight with video conferencing and video chatting. That was a thing that was happening before COVID.
But not even close to how it happened during COVID, for sure.
So it really took off.
So let's talk about the Silver Tech program. I know you talked about our older population and how many of them don't have access to or can't use technology or don't have the tools that they really need to make it work for them. How do you see seniors' lives changed after they complete that?
Well, fortunately, I came home from COVID. I was in the hospital here in Greensboro for 6 weeks, 4 weeks on the ventilator.
Oh,
and generally speaking, medically speaking, those who were on ventilators at that time, anywhere from 10 days and above, didn't make it home. There were no vaccines or anything of that nature. So when I came, was in the hospital, my grandbaby used to FaceTime me every day and sing to me. Now, I'm under anesthesia, but I remember her singing to me. And
great.
so
That's powerful.
Oh, I'm
Yeah.
telling you, it really was. And she's 11 now. That's my little angel. But the thing of it was, when I came home, I couldn't go see my doctor. So I had to do a Zoom call with my doctor.
And had you ever done a Zoom call before?
Had not.
Yeah.
Had not. I've done FaceTime through my iPhone, but
Right.
never a Zoom call.
Right.
Zoom, yep.
So we did a Zoom call, and then when I got better, I came to work for this organization. The chairman of the board, Dave Cohen, asked me to serve as the executive director, which I took on the responsibility. And I thought, and I shared with the board and our folks, how many seniors may have perished because they didn't have access to set appointments, get vaccines, or just be the forgotten ones through isolation. So we explored the idea of Silver Tech. We partnered with the Greensboro Parks and Rec Department, and we launched our first Silver Tech program. And it's been growing and growing ever since. Our youngest person, our age limit is 55 and above. And our youngest person, of course, 55. But our oldest person was 93 years old.
That's awesome.
93. And her daughter also participated. She was a young 71. So what we do with Silver Tech is we teach them the basics of how to use a computer. After they complete the course, we give an enormous graduation. I mean, we really do it up large. And then they take their computers home. So they get the knowledge of a computer. They take the computer home, and then we help them to get affordable internet. And we also are there and to support them when they get home and forget what they may have learned.
Right.
We're able to help them and keep them going. So far, we've probably served about, I would say, approximately about 500 seniors at the Trotter Center where we've been working from, which is one of the senior citizen centers for the city.
Yeah. Well, Dr. Merritt, first let me just say we're glad that you recovered.
Thank you. Thank you.
That was a tough time.
Wow.
Yeah, it really was.
And you must have to have a lot of support to keep the program affordable. So give us an idea of who your partners are.
Well, that's one of the things. We do have some very special people who are sponsors, but we're, again, going back to COVID, a lot of nonprofits were flourishing prior to COVID.
Yeah.
And when COVID happened, the world shut down for a long period of time. And the ability of nonprofits to survive or to flourish almost went away. And so when we, even though we're 20 years old, we're still maybe not as well known as some other nonprofits, like Goodwill or Salvation Army, some of the larger nonprofits. But what we do to make sure that people have the opportunity, we've partnered with the Kaiser Foundation in Durham. They refurbish computers, so we get them for wholesale. And so we have to pass on the cost, unfortunately, to the people who are taking the class. And that's $100. And that covers them with the computer and the we don't make a dime. We lose every class. But as long as we're able to continue to do that, we will.
Yeah.
We need help. We need help. Well, we don't need the help. Our folks we serve needs the help.
Right.
And one of the things we found out, because we did a survey with other nonprofits, and I salute all the nonprofits here in the city. They do excellent work. But we didn't find anyone who was a senior citizens focused program that would take the person, teach them, provide them the equipment, and support them once they got home.
Right.
So if you check a box and say, oh, I'm training seniors, you may be. I know the library, if you come in and you ask to help me use a computer, well, when you go home, if you don't have a computer, and if you have someone helping you there, that's wonderful. But if you do have a computer at home, our grandkids are not going to take the time. Our kids, they got us in a back room saying, you're old now, so just get back there. Don't bother us. I know my kids are all grown and gone, but even my grandkids, they expect for me to know what they know.
Right.
As well as my kids. And so when I ask them something, how they do this or whatever, they look at me like, you don't know how? No.
You get the size sometimes I get from my 20-year.
Yeah, exactly. The
Okay,
side.
let me show you.
Yeah, yeah.
Well, I do have a quick question. A lot of people are upgrading their personal computers,
Yes.
their laptops, or whatever. If they wanted to donate
They
that
can.
equipment, could they do that
They
directly
can.
to you, or how would they do
can.
that?
They can donate them directly to us. We're actually working now to create our own refurbishing apparatus.
Okay.
Because at one time when we first started this nonprofit 15 years ago, we used to have build your own computer. Working with kids in summer camps
Okay.
to where they would build their computers and take them home with them at the completion of the summer camp. So now what we're trying to do is organize to take in computers. We do have the space. We can bring them in, wipe them clean, and refurbish them. And then we can reduce the costs almost to nothing. The thing of it is being on a fixed income with inflation. A lot of seniors, they can't afford $100.
Right.
Yeah, it's tough.
I mean, yeah, it's really tough. And so we really want to make it to where, so everyone who's been taking the class are really, really great. I mean, if you see them from being afraid to touch the button to turn the computer on,
Right.
to now know how to FaceTime, Zoom, to do all that stuff, it's amazing. It's
Yeah.
amazing. And they want to do more.
Sure.
So we want to teach them to be the second level. And also, some seniors now that they know how to use a computer are looking to do part-time employment.
Isn't that great?
Yeah.
To work from
Absolutely.
home
Yeah, that's
industry.
great.
You know, a lot of companies now are hiring people to work from home. And, you know, seniors, I'm a senior. I don't want to just sit in the corner and just fade away.
Yeah.
Right, right.
I
Yeah, you
still
got
got a
stuff
little
to
something
do.
left. I still got
Yeah.
some left, a little bit
That's
left.
right.
Yeah.
Well, so what inspires you most about this work?
Well, I guess working with my dad used to work for Dr. Martin Luther King.
Okay.
And I also serve as a field volunteer person for the Southern Christian Leadership Conference. So my family has been in the helping business for quite a while, all of my life actually. And so to see someone that has limitations and has been somewhat forgotten, and then to bring them into feeling good about themselves,
Yeah.
because a lot of seniors, and you know, we live in a city that was controlled by large companies. You didn't have to do a lot of exploring. You went to work for these cone mills and other you know, places. You raised your family, and they went on to do other things. We have a lot of colleges and universities in this area, but a lot of people never got that chance.
Yep.
And so when you get older, you become less and less attractive. And I know we're working with AARP, and Greensboro says, and hopefully will show, that they want to be a place where seniors can live and flourish in their golden years. And so to be part of that, that's really, really something that does my heart well.
Yeah. Well, thank you for all the good work you're doing and continue to do. We're glad to
Well, again,
have you here.
we're just trying to facilitate. This is not about me. It's not about OPEAT. It's about the people that we serve. And oftentimes when we start doing things, we start to wear a little halo on our heads, and it become about us. And so when we do that, we tend sometimes forget what nonprofits are really here to do, and that's to serve the needs of people who can't help themselves. And so we want to stay in that lane. We want to stay in that frame of mind. I plan to maybe be sitting at my desk for another year, maybe a year and a half. And then as my grandbabies get older, I want to sit on the porch and play with them and, you know, feel that we've accomplished something.
Yeah. Well, I think you have.
Yeah.
So
Yeah,
thank you. Thank you.
absolutely.
If you want to know more or you want to go get more involved, go to opeat.org. That is OPEAT.org.
And is that also a good location for donating
Yes,
older computers?
yes.
Okay.
The Next Bomb Center, where we office right on the corner of South Am, Eugene, in Florida, right beside Carolina Steel. That is a building that's open Monday through Friday. And so, You can come by and drop off computers, or you can reach out to us. I always put my cell number out there. People can call me at 202-322-2604, and we'll be glad to come out and look at setting up a site, because we want to expand into churches and other communities, because some seniors don't drive.
Right.
Yeah, that's
right.
And so they can't get around. So we want to expand all over the city of Greensboro to be able to reach people and to give them the ability to reach out through technology.
Thank you.
Thank you, Dr. Mayer, for being here. And folks, if you've got technology that you're going to replace, donate it and give somebody another chance, and bring them into the technology world.
Exactly. And again, thank you guys for having me, and keep up the good work.
Thank you.
Thank you, sir.
All right.
Stay tuned in weekly by subscribing to Talk City Greensboro on iTunes, Stitcher, and Google Play. And don't forget, you can download Talk City from SoundCloud.
That's our time for this week. Thanks so much for tuning in to Talk City. If you like what you hear, please share it with a friend. And be sure to watch GTN, your official source for news and information about the city of Greensboro. GTN is available on Spectrum Channel 13.
AT&T UVerse Channel 99.
And Lumos Channel 31.
GTN also streams live on Roku and the city's website
At greensboro-nc.gov.